Hi everyone, Janie here and welcome to Crafters Castle Back to School YouTube video hop sponsored by TaylorMade Cards for You. It starts today, Sunday, September 1st and goes through Saturday, September 7th, 2019, giving you plenty of time to watch all 7 design team members' videos. There are links below to the design team's hop videos and all the details you're going to need to enter the giveaway. Just click where it says show more and it will drop down, or you can also find all of the links and details on Crafters Castle blog. At the very top of the description box, you're going to find a link to the next person in the lineup and a link to Crafters Castle blog. And just remember these important things: watch, comment, like, and subscribe. And those are the most important things to remember. Now let's head on over and get started with my project. For my project today, I'm going to be making a back-to-school frame to put a back-to-school picture of my grandchildren in because their mother always takes a group photo besides individuals. So this will be for the group photo. And I got this frame at Michael's for $1. And what I did was I sprayed the back of it, as you will see here in a minute, with this rustic brown wood stain. And so it looks like this. And I actually sprayed too much on at one time. So warning, if you use this, do a little at a time and let it dry in between, because I didn't think it was ever going to dry. I ended up by putting my thumb on it, but I decided instead of starting over again, I was going to kind of rustic it up a little bit because it's kind of a vintage theme frame. So not a big deal. So I've got that done. Let me set that aside. And then I printed out all of the papers that I was going to need. I printed them out on cardstock and cut them down already. I've got this to the size I need, and I'm going to shove all this aside for a minute to explain something to you that in order to get this the size I needed, I actually cropped it out of the set because there's actually 2 papers on a page. I cropped this out and then printed it to the size that I needed because I needed it big enough for the frame. And so now I've got it cut out to pretty much the right size. And then I printed out all the wonderful ephemera pieces that came with it that I'm going to be using. And I've got those all cut out, and I've inked all of the edges with distress ink for many reasons. One, to give it more of a distressed look. The other reason is to hide the edges. I actually recently did a video on that. You've probably seen it, but distressing the edges, and I'll just not distress, ink the edges. I can't even talk straight. Well, it kind of gives them a distressed look, but ink the edges. And I'm going to be inking the edges of this as well once I get it on the frame. Okay, so back to the frame. Normally what I would do is use a spray adhesive to adhere the cardstock or the paper onto the front of the frame. And I would actually spray the cardstock and then put the frame on it. But because a lot of you don't use spray adhesives, but I do know that you use, double-sided tape, today I'm going to do something that actually I've never done before, and I'm going to use double-sided tape on the frame to adhere my cardstock. So to save time and not bore you to death, I'm going to apply the tape off camera, and I am using Terrific tape because it is the strongest double-sided tape I have ever used. I brought in my craft mat to make it a little bit easier to see, and I've got the tape on. I put it around the outside edges and right around the opening there, and then I decided it wouldn't hurt to add a little extra, so I added a little extra right there. Now, before I take off the tape, I'm going to take my cardstock and make sure that it is facing the correct direction. And I don't mean this way or that way. I mean that this is the top, this is the bottom. And I'm going to turn it over. Okay, so now I know that it's going the right way. And I'm going to set it right there. That way, once I have this tape off, I'm going to turn this over. And see that little hole there? That's going to be the bottom where the little stick goes that has the frame stand up. So when you're doing something like this, make sure you have this paper face down and top to bottom, and your frame top to bottom. Okay? So I'm going to take all this off, off camera so I don't bore you, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have all the tape off, and I'm actually going to have to get this at a better angle for me because I only have one shot at this and I don't want to get it on crooked. So I'm going to turn this over. And if my head gets in the way, I am sorry, but hopefully it does not. Okay, now I can already hear you asking about what goes around the edges here because you can see it sticking out, and the center here. And that is going to be the next thing that we do. So, yep, I got it right. Okay. What we're going to do is use a craft knife, or you can use scissors, whatever you are more comfortable with. And we are going to trim off those edges. And again, because of an angle and I want to do it right, I'm actually going to do this off camera, or at least most of it. So before I go, let me show you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do without doing it. Okay, so we're going to turn this over, and I've got my craft knife here. And so what I'm going to do is, see if you can see, I'm just going to go right along the edges. And when it comes to the center, you can go right along the edges. Some people may want to just maybe cut an X to make it easier to get to, but whatever you're comfortable with using your craft knife, you are going to use that to trim off all those edges and to trim out the center of the frame. Okay, I've got all the excess trimmed off and out of the center, and it's really cool because you're going to end up with a piece that you can use for making a card or a tag or something. And now I'm going to ink the edges, and I've decided to use tea dye only because I think it's going to match best with the colors of the paper and the color of the frame. Now I can be wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. Let me get this opened up here. And I'm just going to go around the edges, just like this, which is really beautiful. Let me show you. I was correct on the color. Okay, so do you see the edges right here? Now watch what happens. Is that amazing or what? It just blends right in. Just like that. So it goes from white to matching. Okay, and I am going to finish this up, and then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to be spraying this with a sealer, and you can use a Mod Podge sealer, you can use a Krylon sealer, but it's always good to spray it with a sealer. It protects it from the elements, protects it actually from moisture, makes it easier to dust, and actually it protects it from UV, so it won't fade out. So that's always a good thing to do when you're making a home decor project, you know, using papers or cardstocks or anything like that. So I've got all this done, and I'm going to go spray it. I'm probably going to give it about 3 coats, and I will be back when that's dry. Okay, I've sprayed the frame. It's dry. I gave it about 3 coats of this clear satin sealer, and then I took all of those cute little ephemera pieces, and I didn't want them to just be cardstock. I wanted them to be solid. So what I did was I adhered them to cardboard. You know, like a Kleenex box, cracker box, cereal box, that type of thing. And I'll show you here in a minute how I did that. And then on this one, I rounded the corners. And after I did them, I actually inked the edges again. So I just took my little applicator here and inked up the edges again. And on this one, I got a chalk marker and wrote my grandchildren's names on it. And for this tag, I was trying to find a Brad, and I have a million Brads, but not a basic one. And I didn't want to use something glittery, so I found this little kind of a copper stud, little, I don't know what you would call it, you know, like those little gems with the adhesive back on them. And so I've got those all ready to go, but before I start decorating, I really quick want to show you how I did this, how I, you know, put them on the cardboard. So right here, this is just the side of a Pastaroni box, and it's actually a little bit flimsier, I think, than the Kleenex box that I used. But I'm going to move this to the side, and I prefer to have this on the back instead of this. So if you are using something that you can't see through, then that's how I would do it. And I ran this through my little Xyron. I ran these through my bigger Xyron. You could use spray adhesive. You can use your double-sided tape, however you want to do it. And then you just peel it off, or peel off your double-sided tape, however you want to do it. And just place it on there. There's no perfect place to do it. And then you cut it off. And of course I came over here without my scissors, so give me 1 second. Scissors come in really handy if you want to cut. So all I did, and cutting at this distance really isn't easy for me, so it may not come out perfect. You just cut all the way around the edges of whatever it is that you've put on there. And of course, in this case, get off from there. In this case, it is the ruler. And of course, we want a ruler to be sturdy. Of course, I also can't see to get that close. Okay, I'd have to trim it up a little bit more because there's a little bit of the blue there, but now it's sturdier. And I can ink the edges and, you know, so make a nice embellishment. Not sure if I'm going to be using this one though. So let me clean this up and I'll be right back. Now it's time to finish decorating the frame. And I kind of have an idea of how I want to lay things out. I've kind of been playing around with it a little bit. And let me grab something here. I'm going to be using these 3D foam squares to pop everything up a little bit. I don't really want anything laying flat. Well, with the exception of this one. I may lay that one flat. So I'll probably have to grab some glue here in a second to do that. So let's start off here. I'm going to put their names right up there at the top. I contemplated putting it at the bottom. Changed my mind. I wanted it at the top. And actually, this is big enough. I might use this. I got this cheap online, I think from Amazon. I wanted to see what it was like. It's not the stuff I usually use, but this is big enough that I think it may need a couple of strips, so I think I'll use this. I wonder if it tears. We're going to find out here in a second. Nope, I think it needs to be cut. Let's see. Okay, just put a couple strips of that on here. Just like that. That should work. Hopefully it works. Honestly, this is the very first time I've used this stuff. I just now went over there and grabbed it. And let me take this. Get this as centered as I can. I know I'm taking forever. Sorry, I'm a little OCD. But you know what? We'll call that good, okay? But I'm just going to warn you, I am a little OCD, seriously. So, you know what? I brought these over to use, and now I'm using this instead. Go figure, huh? I guess these little things were bigger than I thought they were. And I want to give them a more sturdy backing than just a couple of foam squares. So, let me add one more in the middle there, just to be sure. Okay, got this one all ready to go. And I love all of these, I don't know, ephemeras or embellishments or whatever you want to call it. Look at that, I rounded the corner and it matches right there. So I'm going to put that right there. But I just love these. I think they're absolutely adorable. And they're actually coming in quite handy for this whole frame thing here. Oh yeah, I was going to grab some glue. You know what? Here's some glue right here. My daughter's glue. I'm on her side of the craft table, but ew, yuck. Let me pull that off. Got a lot of dried glue on here. Hopefully it comes out. Nope. I'm going to have to grab my glue. Let me see if I can reach it from here. Reach it clear across. Ah! Let me see if this one has any in it. You know, I really should come prepared, right? Well, I thought I was prepared. I really did. I thought I was prepared. I knew what I wanted to do. I planned on using those little black foam squares, and now I'm using everything except the little foam squares. Okay. And I think I want that to kind of go at an angle right there. Kind of hanging off the frame a little bit. Okay. And where do I want to put that? Yeah, right there. I really wish I could hear you guys. I know you're all telling me what to do, and I just don't know which direction to put it. You know, maybe that way. I guess we'll see how it lands. So we'll grab a little bit more of this. Get a couple of strips on here. Close enough, especially since I don't know what angle it's going to go at, so I'm not really sure what to cover. Yeah, when I told you that I'd kind of laid it out, that didn't mean I'd actually made a decision. But let me see. Let me get a good look at it. Yeah, I'm gonna call it good, or I'll sit here all day long. Okay, and now that brings me to the ruler. Where did the ruler go? Ah, thought I lost it there for a second. I think that might look cute down here where the other rulers are, but as you can see, it's longer than that, so I'm going to cut it off. And I think I'm going to cut it off right here at the 12, because most rulers are only a foot long. I brought over my little inker here so I could ink this up a little bit first. Okay, let me see how this is going to fit. Yep, that's going to work. And I think this is just the right size also. So, let me just put this on here. Close enough. And this frame is going to be done. I don't know. Straight or at an angle? You know what? I think I'm going to go straight. I really do. I think I'm just going to go straight. Maybe right. Yep, right there. Decision is made. It's done. No turning back now. Okay. Here's my picture frame. Of course, it will have a picture of my grandchildren right there in the center. And it has a place right back here. And I didn't remember to stain the little dowel that goes in there so that this will stand up, but I'll do that. Or I may just put a little thing on the back here to hang this on the wall. But there is my picture frame. I love it. So that passport to school kit works on a lot more than just passport books and cards and scrapbook layouts. You can actually decorate a frame with it. What I'm going to do, by the way, I'm not going to do it now and come back and show you, but I am going to give the entire thing another couple of coats of this so that it also covers the elements that I just added, just to give it that protection. And then it will be perfect and ready to go. Thank you all for watching today, and don't forget there is a link at the top of the description box to the next person in the lineup, so you can just click on that and hop right on over to their channel. And also, I want to thank our wonderful sponsor, Tailor Made Cards for You, and below in the description box you will find a link to that shop, and you're going to want to check it out. I guarantee you that. And there will also be a link below to Crafters Castle, because Tailor Made Cards for You is also sponsoring this month's challenge, which is September of 2019. So you can head on over there and get all the details for that and enter your beautiful creations. And all the information for the giveaway below in the description box as well. Just click where it says show more, it'll drop down and you will find everything you need. So don't forget, leave me a comment. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated as well. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.